I just gotta talk about it 'cause it needs to be talked about. I don't even know why you ain't done it yet. Somebody say something.
Now this video is the one that I really don't want to make. It's been a minute since I've made YouTube videos. Frankly, because it gets tiresome, old, and you get tired of telling people bad news. But the good side, you can educate people and make people learn something. Because all it takes is one. One person could learn something and tell a million. I'd be satisfied. So I don't know if it's true or not. Let me start off by saying that because I don't want to lie to myself. There's a rumor going around all over the internet that Texas has the audacity to change the textbooks, the history textbooks, into saying that slavery never happened. They're now saying that slaves are unpaid interns. That's what I'm hearing. Now, of course, a lot of the websites I'm getting this information from, they keep saying that it's, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it, they keep saying that it's, strife, which means basically a fancy word for the word joke, or use a sense of humor if you look it up. Now, I don't know if that's true. It's sad. It came to my attention a long time ago. I've been supposed to make this video, but it's a really disturbing thing to talk about. You know, we, as black people, can't let this happen and forget about our heritage. There are modern day Jim Crow laws. They're not obvious. They're not, they're not powerful yet, but they can be if you just let them stand by.
In Texas tonight, public education and politics at a crossroads. The state's Board of Education has voted to change what school children learn about American history. We get a late report tonight from our education correspondent, Rahema Ellis.
The Voting Rights Act of 1964.
In Texas public schools, this curriculum is headed for a major rewrite. For weeks, there have been rallies and heated discussions about how history, geography, and social studies should be taught.
I feel that I have let down the students in our state.
Every 10 years, the powerful State Board of Education votes on a new curriculum. And this time, the strong conservative bloc is pushing to correct what it sees as a liberal bias.
I'm really pleased to to move it to the balance. We have not swung it to the right. Swung it to the middle.
But critics say the board is whitewashing history.
We may not be completely proud of all the things that took place in our history, but history is history.
Here are some of the proposed changes. Textbooks must now include mention of the conservative resurgence of the 80s and 90s, the National Rifle Association, the moral majority, and include the idea that our founding fathers may not have intended a separation of church and state. Even some vocabulary would change. The word imperialism would be replaced with expansionism in describing America's land acquisitions. And the expression slave trade would be changed to the Atlantic Triangular Trade. Some critics see that as a move to deny slavery.
This is a radical group that wants your kids to learn what they want to tell them and not what actually happened. And that should be of concern to all of us, regardless of party.
The school board sets the standards for the nearly 5 million Texas public school children. But traditionally, the board's influence has extended far beyond the state because their books are often sold nationwide at an attractive price.
The real danger is that these standards will stand regardless of how many textbooks include these standards, and will stand as a very potentially dangerous precedent for other states and other school districts to follow.
This evening, the Texas State Board of Education approved the new curriculum. Rahema Ellis, NBC News, New York.
Like for the one example, and I'm pretty sure this happened in Alabama when I was watching the news, and they have this theory that children, elementary school children, perform better when they're in the classroom with their friends, or they sit next to somebody they like. You know, I'm gonna see if I can find some more information from that story, but that's a sign of slavery too, because when they took the picture, they had all the black students in the back and all the white ones in the front. Whether it was accidental racism or not, you know, of course children may behave better when they're with their friends. I don't know, but they're children. You're adults. That's not the way the world works. I wouldn't hire anybody, my friends, because when I was in school, it didn't work that way. When I was with my friends, even now in college, when I'm with my friends and we got to get something done, not going to get done properly the way it would if I was with a group of strangers who just want to focus on the assignment. But that was a side note. I'm talking about these people in Texas trying to change the textbooks to actually say that slavery never happened. Now, is it true or not? I'm going to let you decide. But they are trying to change the textbooks. That part is true. It's been rumored that Texas changed the textbooks every 10 years. We know one thing to be true. Texas are trying to change the textbooks for history. History is history. It either happened or it didn't. It can't change. Texas are trying to change history. They're trying to change the science textbooks too. Of course, that science debate been going on years. The concept of evolution and whatnot. This is another side note. You know, so I'm not forcing it on them. I claim to be a Christian. I'm going with the Adam and Eve approach. I'm not going with all this other stuff about the Big Bang Theory. I'm not going with all this stuff about we came from monkeys. That's way too complicated for me. Because science has no facts. That's right. I said science has no facts. It just got theories. Big Bang Theory, that's too broad for me. When you say God, that makes me believe. We came from monkeys. Because I went to the zoo yesterday and saw some monkeys. Until all the monkeys disappear off the face of the planet, I'm never going to believe that humans came from monkeys. I will believe that God made humans and monkeys and made them with similar characteristics. That I can believe. That makes sense. That was a side note. Let's get back to this subject about Texas want to change the word slavery into unpaid interns. They actually said that slaves were unpaid interns because the founding fathers were either decent men who believed in God or they adored slavery. Both of them can't be true.
History may be getting an overhaul in Texas as the State Board of Education is set to vote on a new social studies curriculum that could affect classrooms across the country. The new guidelines are splitting the state between those who say conservative politicians are trying to indoctrinate students and others who say it's about time the state remove the liberal bias that they see in books.
U15 have literally produced history standards that reflect the rich intellectual and spiritual values that have been with America since its inception.
However, some say this is not a liberal versus conservative issue, but a simple one dealing with straightforward facts. They say what's unfolding in Texas is appalling and shouldn't be repeated anywhere else.
What is happening in Texas is that whoever is on that school board is trying to actually rewrite history by not allowing students to know what the truth is and instead attempting to create indoctrination and a political ideology.
They also worry that what's decided in Texas will spread elsewhere. Because Texas has so many students, about 4.8 million, it greatly influences the school textbook industry to the point that the books created to fit the new curriculum there also will be sold nationwide.
Texas is a state that leads this country, and they need to accept that responsibility, slow down, back up, and move in a new direction towards the truth.
However, others, including Education Secretary Arne Duncan, say those fears may be far-fetched. Duncan says he doesn't agree with writing politics into something as basic as American history, but doesn't feel students in different states will feel the effects.
I think there's also been a misperception that what happens in Texas is going to have this huge impact on the rest of the country. I'm actually less worried about that. Textbook publishers have an ability to customize more than ever before.
Opponents of the changes concede they may lose this round, but say they hope they'll be vindicated in November when voters will get to write another page in Texas history, this one at the polls. John Belmont, The Associated Press.
That's what they said. It's on the internet. And a lot of people saying that this is just a story. But we know one thing to be true. They are trying to change. I believe it's true. Because they are trying to change textbooks. And when I was in college, like freshman year, one of my first assignments was to write a paper. I chose capital punishment. He gave us a list of topics. Texas has been proven to be one of the highest states in the United States for capital punishment. That capital punishment is up here. And most of these people that they're killing off are black men. Most of them are black people. Texas is a very racist state. Don't quote me on that, but it's been a lot of evidence. And when I did that capital punishment paper, I wouldn't make this up. I don't have the paper with me. I wish I had it. I don't even remember, but I remember distinctly that Texas was high on the list. I remember that truly because I seen a movie that it was based on a true story too, where the judge was racist and you wanted to throw this girl in jail for accusing her of dealing drugs. She was a black lady. It was based on a true story, and I wrote the paper, so I'm not, you know, I may not believe everything, but if I took the time to write it, then it had to be true. Cause it was a research paper, and I passed the class with an A, so that's it. You come in, like, subscribe, tell me how you think about it. You know, pretty sure black people feel one way about it, white people feel one way about it. Just know that history is history, man. You know, history is history. I mean, that's what it is. You know, slavery has been a far-fetched theory for years. People are to this day saying, well, how did they make all these black people be slaves? I don't know, but we all know it's true. We all know it happened. You hear comedians tell jokes about it all the time, but they're just jokes. You know, this is not a joke, though, that's funny. Saying that slavery didn't happen is not really funny. You know, it's all about contents, man. And people, you know, they're doing a lot of stuff in Texas that's questionable. Like changing history textbooks. They want to change a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know. Now, there's one thing, I can't find any information no more. But, man, the computer never works when I want it to. But one of the things I want to bring to your attention that's really important. Texas, this is a big deal. I don't even know how this statistic is true, but it's true. So, Texas is one of the biggest purchasers for textbooks in the world. Telling me they purchased like at least 4 million textbooks. Which, you know, apparently they purchased so many textbooks that it costs less for the other states to purchase them because Texas got so many. I don't even understand how that's possible, but all the websites I've been to confirm the same fact. I'm not going to argue with the facts. I look at least 3 sources. Once 3 people say it, I can conclude it's factual, depending on the website. The Washington Post, pretty logical. I mean, one state purchased the textbooks, and then eventually what happens is that it becomes the standard because it's being purchased so much that they just make that textbook, and eventually it spreads over to other states. Now, a lot of people are saying that once it spreads over, it's going to be an even bigger problem. You know, truth be told, I think this should get more attention because it can't spread over to too many places. Like, I go to HBCU college. You know, I refuse to believe that any of my teachers, and, you know, the side note, all the teachers who teach history classes or the African American classes are white. But anyway, I refuse to believe that any of them look that and read that and actually agree to teach that. I refuse to believe that textbook will even step foot in the Alabama State campus because I like to believe in my university. Apparently, I got school pride deep down inside of me. But when it comes to things like that, you gotta have pride in some. You know, I just refuse to believe that textbook can go viral. It can. Maybe it will. Maybe it can't. But you know, this is something we need to watch. This is something we need to be paying attention to. This is something as black people we need to be paying attention to instead of all this other stuff that we pay attention to. You know, you need to watch. A lot of things are factual. For example, it's a fact that the word Negro means black in Spanish. It had no cultural reference. It was not negative when they were using it in Spanish as a color. And then white people, Caucasians just started calling African Americans that because that's just what they knew. That part is logical. See, that's the thing about changing history. One fact is going to lead to something else, and one fact is going to lead to nothing else. Something else. That's called a lie. You know, the facts don't add up. So really, it's kind of just, I mean, I don't know. They really want to change the part about slavery, though, man. I know that. There's a lot of other stuff. My computer stopped working, so I can't scroll down to tell you what. Well, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. Things have been, you know, we obviously need to look forward to the future and stop worrying about the past, man. But you gotta know what the past is in order to appreciate the future. I was gonna make a video, it was a fake video where I ran for president, because I think we should change some of the Constitution. I think we got too many old laws. If I tell y'all what I truly thought about welfare, social security system, the right to bear arms, y'all probably crucify me out of America. I think a lot of those things need to be changed. But am I any wrong? Am I any more wrong or right than them changing history? I don't know. It's debatable, but you know, unpaid interns. You can't say that slaves were unpaid interns, man. That's insulting to the black race and America in general. That's like saying the Holocaust was a camping trip. You know, they didn't take it that far, so why slavery? You know, we as black people got a lot of power if we just unite, stick together. There was also a part about them including hip-hop in the textbook, which I'm not really so much in favor for or against. Maybe in the music textbook, but I mean, it's not really culturally significant to history. I mean, I feel like that's part. I kind of feel like them taking out slavery and adding hip-hop is part of the mind control device. Hip-hop is not always that positive. You know, just to be realistic with you. I mean, I can't imagine what the world would be if hip-hop never was invented, because it took black people. It's biased. It took black people to a long way, and it took them to a dangerous path too. So, it's definitely biased. I mean, there was another part in there. They talked about the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln speech. You know, there's one part that I really just want to read to you though, but I'm gonna post these links up so y'all can read them yourself. That's it, man. I'm all in favor. You know, you can't change history. You can't change science. It is what it is. Truth be told, it happened so long ago, nobody will ever truly know until the world ends and God tell us. I mean, when I ran for president, I did want to change a lot of the laws, but I never once thought about changing the history books. That's just, you know, to have a mind frame to do something like that is almost evil. Because if you could tell somebody something is right when it's really not, then that's evil. That's how dictators are born. I mean, pay attention. Stop. Read the links. Click the description. It could be media hype, but you know one thing for sure, something's going on. Something's going on, man. You know, anybody can spread a lie on the internet and make it go viral, but I looked it up too much to believe that nothing is going on. I mean, Texas, they trying to change the history books to some. So let that be known. Let that be known to the world. I don't like making videos no more. I don't like telling people bad news. But no, like I said, if one person see this video and tell a million, because this right here needs a million. If nothing else I get need a million views. Even if it comes out to be one big lie, it need a million views, man. Because, you know, like I said, if we don't respect our history, then who will? You know. Facts are fact. History is history. Science is science. Leave it alone. If you disagree, disagree. You can't change a fact. That being said, God bless, or whoever you believe in, since it's so touchy right now. Whoever you believe in, bless. Comment, like, subscribe. Go in peace and plenty of imagination for life. As always, believe in what you want to be. Don't make other people believe in what you want them to be. That's different.
I just gotta talk about it because it needs to be talked about. I don't even know why you ain't done it yet. Somebody say something.